What went wrong with the Uswnt? How did the star-studded team falter in their World Cup performance? How many of these players will we see in this stage again? Who will be the new coach of the Uswnt? After the United States women's national team was eliminated from the World Cup, numerous questions began to surface in the minds of millions of fans. There's much to address, from the coach's mismanagement during the tournament to the underperformance of various players, and the fact that things never seem to truly click in this era for the Uswnt. After all, it's not just about this World Cup. The Olympics from 2 years ago were problematic as well. As the United States embarks on a period of introspection, an opinion from across the Atlantic has garnered attention. Ian Ialuko, a former England international who played for 3 different American clubs during her career and also served as sporting director in Los Angeles for Angel City for just under 2 years, working as an analyst during the World Cup for the British broadcaster ITV, suggested a potential limitation of the Uswnt. And before we begin this analysis, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and give it a like, so you don't miss any updates about the United States women's national team. Because here, there's news every day, especially for you. Let's get to the questions. Many players play in the NWSL, she said. Lindsay Horan plays in Europe. I think when you see Lindsay playing in Europe for the best team in the world, Lyon, you can see her creativity is a bit more advanced than other players. Is that something they can look at? Can more players play in Europe? Where you have the Champions League, you have really competitive leagues. The NWSL isn't perfect, there's no doubt about that, and new experiences can certainly be beneficial for players, for sure. But the US still has the best, most competitive, and deepest league in the world. As some athletes observe, there are benefits to leaving the United States and experiencing European football and the culture around it. I think in America, which doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but it's very transitional, explained Horan, who recently made a permanent loan move from Portland to Lyon, to goal before the World Cup. It's very fast, it's very physically demanding, and I don't think a lot of Europeans could survive in our league, just because it hits them in the face. I remember when Amandine Henry first came to Portland, I think it slapped her in the face because she said, "We're running non-stop. You have to be fit to play in this league. It's like a totally different game here." I think some of the aspects of soccer, the value of the ball, possession, combination play, tiki-taka, all the things I love are taken away because it's so fast. There's so much pressing, there's so much demand in these games that you can't relax for a second and just have a chat. I'm not saying there's none of that in the NWSL, I think it's improved, but I think about my team, Lyon, and the players I play with and the type of soccer I get to play. I'm obsessed. Every training session is so much fun. It's very enjoyable. I'm really enjoying my soccer. But even with the exodus of the NWSL to Europe, specifically the Women's Super League in England, it remains rarer to see Uswnt stars abroad. Even when they choose an experience elsewhere, it often isn't for long. However, the Uswnt's failure in Australia and New Zealand, and the fact that the rest of the world has closed the gap on the 4-time world champions, is much more than just related to the NWSL. Let's consider the increase in investment in Europe and other parts of the world, which has allowed many nations to catch up to the best football program on the planet. And now, Uswnt fans, I want to hear from you. Do you think the best option for Uswnt players is to move to Europe? Or should they continue to develop the NWSL further? Share your opinion in the comments. I'll be back with more news at any moment.